best-known sorcerer and practitioner of the occult and magic in recent times was the much-aligned Aleicester Crowley. Although reviled in his time, there is no doubt whatsoever that he was the single most influential magician of recent times. What is even more important is the fact that he may actually have been able to do what he claimed. Crowley, who incidentally never claimed to be a Satanist and denied that his magic had any kind of satanic element, was a consummate and notorious self-promoter and delighted in acting in a manner designed to horrify the rather prim and proper turn of the 19th and 20th century Victorian times in which he lived. His lifestyle was typically flamboyant and was built around what he considered to be the ritual magic that he called thelema. This term equated directly with will. The use of will or intent became part of the mantra associated with him. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. It was this single factor that, although he probably did not realize it at the time, was the reason that in many cases his magic worked. It is the very core of the magical process and is what permits it to function. Had Crowley lived longer, he probably would have encountered the vindication of his art. But for ascetic reasons, he might not have liked what he saw. The main thing that marks him out from all the rest was that he was not a charlatan. He firmly believed in what he was doing. He believed absolutely that magic was real and that it worked, and so it did for him. His only limiting factor was, like many of us, he was resistant to change. Nevertheless, for all the public disdain upon him, there may have been rather more to the man than met the eye. Yes, he relished his notoriety. Yes, he was outrageous. Yes, he took drugs. And yes, he was addicted to sex, but consider this. He was no different than hundreds of modern so-called vacuous celebrities, whose outrageous lives are steeped in notoriety and excess. If Crowley had lived today, he would not have been regarded as anything particularly excessive. The problem was, he lived in a dull and lackluster era and suffered greatly at the hands of a morally bankrupt, vindictive, and malicious press. Although, to be fair, this may have suited his ends. He courted controversy, but was nevertheless sincere in his self-belief, and it showed. He moved in high circles and was able to establish a considerable following, attracted by his undoubtable charisma, and when it suited him, abundant charm. But he also took risks, and this tendency may have served him badly during his tenure at Boleskine House, on the shores of Loch Ness. While there, he conducted the ritual of Abra Malin the Mage, a lengthy and risky procedure which involved turning 40 demons back to the rule of God. The reward at the end of this 6-month-long ritual was contact with one's own guardian angel. According to contemporary accounts, Crowley had to temporarily abandon the ritual to attend to matters in the Ordo Templi Orientii, or OTO, an esoteric organization that he controlled. Some of those assisting Crowley in his endeavors swore that they watched ethereal entities being shuffled around by Crowley himself. Prior to leaving Boleskine for Paris, he had to suspend the magical process he had begun, and it is thought that in his haste to leave, he did not do so properly, and some of the entities he had summoned escaped. Upon his return, he recommenced and completed the ritual. But there is still a suspicion that something he brought through from the other world had escaped and attached itself to the woodlands surrounding the house. It is conjectured that in the years of the Second World War, Crowley acted on behalf of the British government in the intelligence service, harnessing his notoriety and social circle in the service of his country. Through his occult connections, he may have been able to mingle with other like-minded outsiders whose intimate knowledge of the German and European hierarchy provided invaluable snippets of information regarding their beliefs and thought processes. It is also claimed that he was active in intelligence circles when he allegedly was asked to assist in the debriefing of Rudolf Hess, who may have been lured by British intelligence into defecting to the United Kingdom. In his latter years, Crowley became an associate of two young, aspiring magicians. John Whiteside, or Jack Parsons, a co-founder of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, and Ron Lafayette, also known as Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. In 1947, both of these men, using advice from Crowley, attempted to operate the Babylon working. This is a ritual designed to sunder the fabric between realities and bring through an entity, in this case, the Moon Child. It is not clear whether or not this operation was successful, but following the event there have been a series of remarkable phenomena and sightings, including the alleged crash of a spacecraft in the New Mexico desert. There is no doubt that for some reason, 1947 became a pivotal year on many accounts. This is acknowledged by many hidden subcultures attracted by the world of paranormal phenomena. It was also the year that Aleicester Crowley died, an event that may have even heralded the coming of the New Age. It is interesting to note that Ron Hubbard's religion, Scientology, which is based on some truly esoteric beliefs, denies on its founder's behalf that he was in any way involved in any kind of magic. His interest was, they insist, entirely altruistic. He was acting on the behalf of American naval intelligence to spy on Parsons and Crowley in case they were in some way championing the German cause. We should establish one basic rule. Magic, in spite of its vigorous claims to the contrary, is neither black nor white, good nor evil, high nor low. It is simply a source of latency and potential. It is the purpose to which it is put that determines how it is perceived. It is the nature and intent of the user that defines the outcome. The fundamental premise behind all magic is to cause change in the real world by the act of manipulating matter to one's will. The reason for doing so, as with the purpose for which it is used, is once again the responsibility of the user. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.